So I'd like to talk about competitors. When we buy a company, there's going to be competitor action or activity or thinking, and so we need to be prepared for that. That's one of the things I've actually done working for a company. When there's a deal in our sector, what should we do? So there's a chunk of work that can be done to prepare for mergers that are going on in your area. But let's think about actually doing a deal. So we're sitting pre-deal. We need to think about what might a competitor do. So the moment that we actually buy a company, or two or three, the competitors are going to see this and figure out what our strategy is, what our plan is, and if it's a good one, potentially copy. So the first thing, I was training the board of a company many years ago where they were talking about buying a small bolt-on to add a product to their range. We discussed the concept. There are about 100 of these companies to buy, and so I said, look, the first time you buy one of these, or potentially a second, your two or three main competitors, they're going to see what you're buying, understand it, and realize it's a great idea. And then it's going to just be a race as to how you buy the 100 between you all. Now, maybe only 50 or 60 are ripe for purchase over the next few years, but you're going to split that across the piece. So if it's 60 companies, 20 each. So if we're the first people to have the idea and first people to market, really what we want to do is the full analysis on all 100 companies, figure out which 60 we might want to buy, and be ready to buy them very quickly. So as we buy the first one or two as a tester, be ready to integrate them quickly so that we understand that we've done it well, and then ramp up and buy as many of the good ones as possible so we get the best ones first rather than competitors. So firstly, think about our complete M&A strategy as we enter a new way of buying companies and a new set of thinking for our industry. The next thing to think about is the customers. So as we buy a company, there's going to be customers on our side and on the target side. And certainly we think about these from an account management viewpoint and how we're going to cross-sell and upsell. And I've done other videos on that, and people find it very difficult to deliver those, but you can. But let's discuss the concept that competitor comes in. So as we buy a company, that gets announced, our competitors realize what's going on and may go to customers and say various different things. So we need to prepare for what a competitor might say or do, and not necessarily in the official sense. So a competitor might do something openly and officially, but there'll be salespeople that go and talk to our customers, and we need to think about what they might say informally to customers and be prepared for all of those questions and have them answered potentially up front so we don't have any competitor issues, or we minimize the issues that we get from competitors thinking about our customers and how they're going to interact with them. Obviously, the same discussion is our key people. So one of the things is if deals start happening in our industry, we could lay down a plan and say, well, who would we like to steal or entice away from a competitor? When there's a competitor deal, you could go to a senior person and say, well, you don't know if you're going to have a job. You don't know if your budget will change. There's a period of uncertainty. You're not really sure what's going to happen. Why don't you jump ship and come and work with us, and we can give you this type of job and this kind of salary. And so there obviously is the opportunity to entice people away from competitors when there's a deal. And so we need to prepare and think about key people and how we're going to keep them, what competitors are going to do, what's important to us in the deal, and plan for that as part of our HR work stream. Hi, I'm Danny Davis. I help plan the European side of a $6 billion deal with 30 countries and 30 work streams. I wrote the book M&A Integration, How to Do It, and I've been a guest speaker at London Business School for over 20 years. I do coaching, training and consulting. Give me a call or send me an email.